The Texas dusk settled over my 4,000-acre spread, casting long shadows across the rolling hills dotted with cedar and prickly pear. Out here, the land speaks, crickets hum, bobcats scream, and the wind carries secrets through the live oaks. I'm Lucas Hayes, and this ranch has been my family's anchor since my great-grandfather drove his first stake in 1948. You learn to tune out the small noises: deer rustling, armadillos scuffling, but you never ignore the wrong ones. That summer, I was set to head to Dallas for the Heartland Cattle Expo, a week of high-stakes auctions, drone tech demos, and enough whiskey to loosen any deal. My ranch was a fortress, wired with a security grid my old squad mate, Owen, helped me install: infrared cameras, seismic sensors, and a drone fleet that could map a coyote's tracks from a mile up. The east gate was a beast: titanium locks, biometric scanners. The western boundary, though, was a rugged stretch of limestone cliffs and dry washes, too treacherous for anyone but rattlesnakes and ghosts. I left my ranch hand, Tucker, to watch the place and hit the road, my mind on AI-driven grazing models, not the glittering new subdivision across the valley, Silver Pines Estates. Their HOA chief, a slick realtor named Garrett Klein, once cornered me at the hardware store with a glossy pamphlet about community synergy. I tossed it in my truck bed. He planned cocktail parties. I planned fence lines. On day 2 of the expo, my phone buzzed. Alert! Zone W12, motion detected. I figured it was a jackrabbit tripping. A sensor happens often enough. But when I pulled up the feed, my pulse spiked. No rabbit. A backhoe was clawing through my western wash, tearing up sagebrush and spitting gravel. Behind it, a crew in neon vests rolled out survey tape, and a pickup hauled a stack of steel pipes. A banner flapped on a trailer: Silver Pines Estates Wellness Retreat. My land. I scrolled through the feeds: W13, W14, W15, all screaming with activity. Excavators, cement mixers, a goddamn mobile office. This wasn't a mistake, it was an invasion. I called Owen, Tucker, and my brother-in-law, Cole. Gear up. I'm coming home. They didn't ask for details, just said, how many mags? I ditched the expo, leaving a half-drunk bourbon and a full tank of rage. The satellite view showed they'd carved a 60-yard scar into my property, pushing east. Garrett Klein, with his tailored suits and zoning board pals, thought my remote western edge was fair game for his yoga and smoothie empire. He'd miscalculated. I texted Sheriff Wade Bullock for a unit in 24 hours and my lawyer, Rachel, to dig up the deeds. As my plane sliced through the night, I imagined Klein's smug grin, his PowerPoint dreams of infinity pools on stolen dirt. This was Texas. We don't negotiate with thieves. We touched down at 1 a.m., my airstrip's gravel crunching under the wheels. Cole met me with the F-150, headlights carving the dark. He handed me a thermos of black coffee, no need for words. We'd faced worse in Kandahar, but this hit different. Tucker radioed as we sped west. They've got rebar down, Lucas. 12 workers, portable generators, even a water tank. 50 yards past the boundary. My knuckles whitened on the dash. At the gear shed, we suited up, ARs slung low, sidearms holstered, a USB drive with 48 hours of footage in my pocket. Cole grabbed his drone. Owen synced the tablet to our sensors. At dawn, 4 ex-soldiers rolled out in a battered Ram, armed legally, pissed righteously. The western trail was a mess: dire ruts and a makeshift road hacked through my scrub. The site was a slap in the face. Concrete footings, steel beams, workers buzzing like roaches. On my land. I parked 20 yards out and stepped down, voice steady as steel. Morning. Who authorized this? A worker in a hard hat dropped his shovel, reaching for a radio. Tucker planted a survey spike by the backhoe. County lines 62 yards west. You're on private property. A guy darted into a trailer and outstrode a man in pressed slacks, late 30s, all teeth and arrogance. I'm project lead, Derek Holt, he said. Permits are with Silver Pines. I leaned in. This is Lucas Hayes' land. Deeds filed with Travis County. Want a copy? He faltered. Cole's drone whirred above, recording. You're 58 yards inside my line, Cole said. We've got GPS, aerials, and seismic logs. Holt muttered, I'll call Mr. Klein. I gave him 10 minutes before I rang Wade. Sheriff, I've got trespassers building on my land. Destruction of habitat, illegal structures. Need you here. Wade rolled up in 15, sirens blaring. Holt tried to spin a shared easement tale, but Wade cuffed him for trespass and unpermitted construction. 2 workers trying to slip away got detained. I stood in the churned dirt where my father once hunted quail, now a construction graveyard. Shut it down, I told the crew. They scattered, heads low. The wind held my fury. 2 days later, Rachel and I pored over maps in her office, the air thick with coffee and ink. She jabbed at Silver Pines' development plan, my western border labeled Unclaimed Public Reserve. My land, owned since '48. Klein sold it as surplus to the county, she said. His cronies didn't verify. I filed a civil suit against the HOA and Klein personally trespass, ecological damage, unauthorized building, $700,000 in damages. Klein countersued, claiming a disputed boundary and my aggressive interference. Judge Naomi Carter called a hearing in 36 hours. Rachel unloaded our evidence like artillery, drone footage, time-stamped photos, my deeds, clear as a desert sky. The courtroom watched a worker torch my sagebrush, Klein's ambition in every spark. His lawyer pushed an implied access argument, but Rachel crushed it. No easement exists. This is deliberate theft. Judge Carter's pen tapped like a gavel. That night, she ruled against Silver Pines, fining them $700,000 and ordering site restoration in 30 days, with $6,000 daily penalties for delays. The HOA imploded residents sued their board for siphoning dues into Klein's retreat. By week's end, 10 lawsuits choked their inbox. Klein went quiet, but I knew better than to trust a cornered rattler. Then the alarms tripped. Biometric failure, Eastgate. For failed scans, camera feed blacked out. Owen found the wiring box pried open, tool marks fresh. I held off reporting it called Be Kids. Then 8 calves dropped dead in the west pasture, no marks, just foam at the mouth. The vet, Dr. Salazar, confirmed glyphosate poisoning in their feed bins. Intentional. This wasn't a dispute, it was sabotage. I filed a report, but without plates or faces, the deputies just shrugged. So I flipped the switch on Phase Omega lockdown protocol. Night vision drones, vibration sensors, floodlights, all wired to a tablet in my kitchen. 5 nights later, at 3 a.m., the western grid lit up. 4 heat signatures, moving deliberate, one hauling a duffel. Owen switched to thermal. They hit a sensor post with bolt cutters. I triggered the lights, flooding the wash. There was Garrett Klein, in a black cap and work boots, with 3 hired hands, one carrying acid canisters. I hit the emergency line. Wade arrived in 8 minutes, cuffs ready. Klein froze, caught in the glare, his hired muscle holding tools for vandalism. Charges stacked up: trespass, sabotage, attempted evidence destruction, and livestock poisoning, a federal crime. In the DA's office, Rachel and I pushed for more, $500,000 for sabotage and cattle loss. The footage was damning: Klein's face, the acid, his laptops, Silver Pines expansion files. His lawyer tried emotional distress and provoked retaliation, but Judge Carter shut it down. Provoked by defending his own land. The trial was a slaughter. Jurors, half with ranches of their own, saw Klein's crew torch my pasture. A former HOA accountant testified Klein diverted $250,000 for the retreat without a vote. Guilty: trespass, sabotage, poisoning, conspiracy. 15 years, 10 without parole. Silver Pines collapsed, assets liquidated, residents at war. A neighbor, Clara, slipped me a note. We were too scared to stop him. Thank you. I wasn't a vigilante anymore. I was the man who drew the line. A month later, I stood by the western wash, watching new sagebrush take root. The soil was clean, the air clear. I wrote an article for a ranching magazine. Build your dreams on sand, but steal land, and you're carving your own cage. As dusk fell, a moving van rolled up the old HOA road. A couple stepped out, planting a private property sign. Deeds checked twice, the man said. I nodded. That's the way. His wife mentioned a rancher with drones who stopped a tycoon spa. Sounds wild, I said, but close enough. I gave one piece of advice: silence isn't weakness. And never trust a man who dreams bigger than his survey. I didn't. Some fights scar the land. Others just need a damn good fence.